I tell you what, it's been a great day. I'm very excited about this class. We've signed 23 so far in this class. Really feel like we filled our needs. We tried to address our immediate needs and really feel like that we accomplished that. Really like to compliment our coaching staff. They did a wonderful job on a short period of time. A new staff coming in, we had a lot of obstacles as far as trying to develop relationships and a lot of different things. Anytime you come in and you don't retain anybody from the previous staff and you have a lot of commitments, there's a lot of things that go with that. And I'm extremely excited and pleased with our staff. Really appreciate the work of our support staff, administration, especially Jay Jacobs, allowing us to have the things we need to do recruit. Matter of fact, he even helped us recruit on some Saturdays, which I really feel like made a huge difference. This time I'd like to go over each one of our signees and just briefly say a little bit about them, and then I'll open up for questions afterwards. First, defensive end Elijah Daniel. He was our first commit of the day. Pass rushing was our big needs, and this guy can really do it. Had a relationship with Rodney Garner that goes way back, and he signed this morning. We're tickled to death to have him. Our second of the day was Tony Stevens, a big, tall wide receiver. He's got tremendous skills. He's a kick returner. Damian Craig did a wonderful job with him, had a previous relationship, and really he has a chance to be an impact player. Dominique Walker, his teammate, 6'2", 195, a big, physical, fast guy that really feel like he'll have a chance to be that special type player, and once again, Damian recruited him also. Marcus Davis, okay, now he is a quarterback from Delray Beach, Florida, and he's going to play like a slot receiver for us. We've had a lot of success with former quarterbacks. He has running back skills, and he's a really good kid, smart kid. We're excited about him. Cameron Melton, defensive back from Dothan. I want to say this about all of the guys that hung in there with us, specifically the defensive guys, because we didn't have great relationships. We knew a lot of the offensive guys because I was here before and some of our staff, but really appreciate Cameron. He's got a wonderful family and really think he'll be a very good player for us. Running back Peyton Barber is a guy that we started recruiting when we first got here. He was committed to another school, and he got hurt his junior year, and this past year had a phenomenal year, and I really feel like if he hadn't got hurt his junior year, he'd be one of those top type guys. He is a very strong, fast individual. We're very excited about Peyton. Nick Marshall, our quarterback, first one that came in today, junior college. He is one of 3 quarterbacks that we took. We felt like that was definitely a need as far as depth is concerned. He's a great athlete, and he's one of those impact players, throws the ball extremely well, has a very strong arm. Feel like he could come in here and give us a chance right off the bat. Carl Lawson, I'm going to say this about Carl Lawson. I really felt like he's one of the keys to this class. He hung in there with us. When a lot of guys went south and went other ways, opened stuff up, he hung in there with us, and he provided the stability. I really feel like on the defensive side specifically, to have the class that we did. He's a phenomenal player, phenomenal person. He's an Auburn person. He loves Auburn, and his family loves Auburn, and very excited to have him on board. Kahari Harding, a safety from Oklahoma, one of the bigger hitting safeties I've seen. Come out of high school, and he's a vicious guy. We need some depth at safety. He'll have a chance to come in and contribute early. Quarterback-wise, Jeremy Johnson. I'm going to say the same thing about Jeremy as I did Carl. He was kind of one of the centerpieces offensively. Now, me and Coach Lashley already had a relationship with him, but he really hung in there with us. He helped us recruit and really provided a lot of stability on the offensive side. And once again, he loves Auburn. Our next signee came in this morning was Ernest Robinson, a wide receiver. He's been committed to us a long time. I actually recruited him when he was a sophomore and have a great relationship with him. Thank the world to Ernest. He hung in there with us too during the change. Kenny Flowers at linebacker. We felt like we needed some depth at linebacker that could come in immediately and help. This guy is a very physical, hard-nosed type player, and Coach Johnson did a great job recruiting him. Cameron Toney, another inside linebacker from Huntsville. He was committed before. Very good kid. He hung in there with us, and I think he'll have a chance to be a really good player. Jason Smith, quarterback out of Mobile. He's electric, and I think he was the MVP of the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Just got phenomenal skills. He can do a lot of different things. We're very excited about Jason. Dion Mix, offensive lineman that we just started seriously recruiting about a week ago. Coach Melvin Smith had a great relationship with him. He is the only offensive line we took today other than the junior college I'll talk about here in just a minute. But he is a big road grading type offensive lineman that Coach Grimes likes to have. Alexander McEnroe, Alexander, a DB from Florida. This is a kid that we feel like has a very big upside. He is a tough, smart kid that can run. He's a very good tackler. We think that he will definitely provide us some depth in the secondary. Brandon King, a defensive back safety, junior college. Once again, we felt like we needed some depth at safety, some guys that could come in immediately and play. He's a very hard-nosed, physical type player, so we're excited about him. Then Montravius Adams, defensive tackle, and I think this is going to be my 8th year to coach college. I don't know if I've seen a bigger athletic guy than him. I really feel like the sky's the limit with him. Coach Rodney Garner had a great relationship with him that really helped get him here, and he's a very good person with a great family. Daniel Carson, our kicker from Colorado Springs, Colorado, he hung in there with us through 2 special teams coaches, and I really appreciate him do that. He's got a very big leg, and he'll be a very good kicker for us. And then Jonathan Ford just signed with us this morning. Very good running back. He's got a lot of different skills. So he's not only a good runner, but he can catch the ball in the backfield. And you know, he loves Auburn. His family loves Auburn. So we're very excited to have him. And then our January enrollees, Cameron Artist Payne, a big physical runner. Really think he's going to provide some very good depth, and I think he'll be a very good player for us. Ben Bradley, we needed depth up front, and this guy is very athletic and very strong. And then Devontae Dansby, we needed some help at center and at guard, and I feel like he'll have a chance to help us immediately. But overall, feel very good about this class, especially on a short period. Like I said earlier, we addressed our needs. And I'm very pleased. So I'll open up for questions now.
You talked about the defensive line group. It looks like you guys closed strong in that area.
There's no doubt. And y'all know in this league you win on the offensive and defensive lines, and the defensive line was a focus. And the 3 guys we have, we feel like are 3 of the best in the entire country. And Coach Garner's a great coach, and he's going to have 3 guys that will have a chance to help us immediately.
Coach, what's the feeling like when a guy like Montravius that you spent weeks, months recruiting against SEC rivals, what's the feeling like when you see him, or any kid, put on that Auburn hat?
Tell you what, it was a great feeling when he put on that Auburn hat. That was a special feeling. Coach Gardner's had a relationship with him a long time, and they're extremely close. Everybody in the country was wanting him. But, you know, when he got back to Auburn, he loved Auburn before. And the new staff, he had a relationship with Rodney, and then when he came back on, he said, I still feel the same way. And so that was a very exciting moment this morning.
Gus, the 3 quarterbacks, 2 of them, Jason and Nick, could they conceivably, depending on how things shake out, play other positions?
Well, that is a possibility, but we're going to give all 3 of those guys a shot at quarterback. And they're all very talented at that position. And as y'all seen in the past, you know, the dual threat type guys that can do a lot of different things, keep plays alive, can be very successful with what we do.
You mentioned 23 for now. How many more do you think you might possibly sign, and would you like to perhaps hold a couple for next year?
Well, it just depends on who they would be, but there could be a couple more here in the near future.
Gus, when coming into today, I mean, almost everything went like you would have wanted it to go. Just going back to this morning and you look at it, was it about as good as you could have hoped?
Yeah, when we went to bed last night, I would say there's very little change. There is some anxiety. I mean, anytime you're coming in this thing and you're 4 or 5 weeks in, and you don't have the foundation relationships, you know, stuff could happen. But our coaching staff did a wonderful job developing those relationships in a short period of time, and pretty much went as planned today when we got up.
How many hours of sleep did you get last night?
I'm thinking 2, but sometimes I work best when I don't have much sleep. I was extremely excited. You know, we've been gearing up for this day, and I want to bet our staff didn't get much sleep either.
Coach, this addition of depth on defense, what does that allow you to do with the pace of your offense this year? And which of any of those guys you think will have an immediate impact in getting a rotation going up front?
Well, of course, up front, they're going to have a chance to play immediately. I mean, obviously, they have to earn that. And like I said, the safety position, we feel like, those guys will have a chance on defense to do that. But yeah, anytime you have depth at all positions on defense, it definitely helps.
Gus, can you talk about, when you got the job here, identifying the real positions of need and how you went about addressing those?
Sure. Of course, we hired our defensive staff first, and we went to evaluating exactly Coach Johnson's defense, and we tried to evaluate our own players first, and then evaluate the commitments, and then open the door for our needs. And so we did that on a very fast turnaround. Offensively, the unique thing is that, I was here for 3 years previously, and we recruited specific for positions, so we kind of knew what we were looking for, and a lot of the guys that were committed, we actually recruited before. But the main thing was probably defensively.
You talked about addressing all your needs, particularly on the defensive line. How excited is Rodney for all these new toys he's got to play with?
Yeah, I think our whole staff's excited, and I know from the head coach's standpoint, defensive linemen, especially talented defensive linemen like these three we got, they can all rush the passer, and they can all play run defense, and they're extremely talented. So I know Coach Garner's very excited.
Yes, having 6 junior college kids come in, and the possibility of even more, certainly unusual for this institution. How much of that came as a result of the timetable you were working in, and how much of that was kind of planned, even perhaps a little bit?
Well, we had some needs we had to address, and this will not be the norm. I'm not saying we won't recruit junior colleges every year, but I feel like we had to address some needs, and we had to have some players that we feel like were physically ready to play next year. So that was the plan.
How much of it all did you talk to Coach Chiswick at all during this process?
I talked to him a few times. I did talk to him a few times. It wasn't always about recruiting. It was just checking on him and seeing how he's doing.
Yes, can you talk about the importance of getting Jonathan Ford today and then Barber earlier in the week? Because you're a little short on running backs going into signing day.
Yeah, we were definitely 1-2 running backs, and we felt pretty good about Jonathan for a while. It got interesting there, in the middle of it, but he loves Auburn. And we really think he's going to be a phenomenal running back. Peyton Barber was a fight to the finish, but once he came on his official visit, he loves Auburn too. And those two guys are going to have a chance to help be on the field and provide depth next year.
Is Jonathan somebody that you consider an every down back, a guy that's slot, or could he be both?
I think both of those guys are true running backs. And I think they've got all the skills it's going to take to be a running back in this, in this conference and this offense.
Gus, you mentioned those 3 guys up front on the defensive line. Are those all 3 of them guys that you can see playing early here as we get into?
They're going to have a very good chance to. Like I said, we've got to have pass rushers that can put pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, and I feel like the defensive ends can definitely do that.
Gus, you also had 4 wide receivers, possibly 5, depending on what happens to Jason Smith. What was it about that position that you needed to go out and get 4 or maybe 5?
Well, I believe we only had 6 receivers on scholarship, and so we knew we had some holes there, and we needed to provide some depth. And Coach Craig did a very good job of recruiting in a very short time. And I think we'll have a chance to look back in the future. This is a very talented receiving group, and 3 of the guys are pure receivers.
Jeremy Johnson's a pretty good basketball player, and is he going to try to play both sports here in Auburn?
I kind of left that up to him, but he is going to concentrate on football, and that'll be his first priority. I know his goals will be to start a quarterback here, and what it takes to be a starting quarterback in college, especially in this league, it takes a lot of focus. But he is a very good basketball player.
Coach, what impact did some of the existing players have being familiar with you when you brought in the recruits? They can talk obviously about the offense specifically.
I think that helped. There was a point of reference for these recruits coming in to ask our current players about me, about some of our staff, and so I think that definitely helped.
The nature of what this day has become and this whole process where kids, all the attention that goes to them, as soon as they start to get on campus, how quickly do you remind them that, hey, there is a ton of hard work ahead to get to where this program needs to be?
Yeah, I think it starts today. You know, the recruiting part of it's over. Now the preparation time to get them prepared, not only in the classroom, but to get them prepared physically with the working out and the expectations on the offense and defense.
Gus, last year, a prominent, something became pretty prominent was that Auburn was giving out 4-year scholarships. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we did the same thing this year.
Coach, what piqued your interest on Elijah? This is kind of how you got in with him.
Well, Coach Garner had a relationship with him for a long time, and we knew that we were in need of defensive ends, and Coach Garner got him here this past weekend, and we've known about him for a while, but he can flat out rush the passer.
You describe a lot of these guys as physical and hard-nosed players. How important is it to find players not only fit your system, but fit the mentality that you're trying to cultivate?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because that is one thing that our staff look for, physical, hard-nosed football players. You know, I told our staff, the very first staff meeting we had, we got to find football players that are going to be Auburn type, tough, hard-nosed, blue-collar guys. And I really feel like, for the most part, we did that today.
Coming up with the time frame because of the transition, is there almost a sense of relief, I guess, that this day has come and gone for you?
You know what? It's probably more excitement that it's here, and then when you look at these players that the facts has come across, and the reality is that they're going to be playing for us, I'm very excited, because we've got some guys that really fit what we're doing, that we feel like will have a chance to be very good football players.
Coach, what was it about Aiden specifically you got so aggressive about when you first got here and recruiting him? Is it a system fit or?
Well, we knew we needed running backs, and so what we did is we started out and we started looking at the top running backs in the country, and we put them all up on film, and he stood out. And so early in the process, called him, offered him a scholarship, and then you know, we recruited him, and we showed him that we wanted him bad. Coach Horton did an excellent job with him, along with Coach Lashley. It wasn't easy. He'd been committed a long time, but at the end of the day, he loved Auburn and really wanted to play here.
This particular year, a lot of flipping, a lot of undecideds, especially in SEC country.
Yeah.
What was this year like as your first go around as a head coach, recruiting directly against the Nick Sabans and Will Muschamp's, everyone else in the
Well,
conference?
of course, I've been in this conference as a coordinator before, so I kind of know what to expect. But from a head coach's standpoint, you worry about the defense and the special teams and the offense and everything that goes with it. And like I said earlier, the fact that we didn't have a full year to recruit against a lot of these guys that had a full year to recruit, and to get the players signed that we did, I'm just very, very pleased and tickled death with our staff.
In the 4-2-5, you've got that hybrid safety linebacker spot. Any of these guys kind of recruiting for that spot?
Yeah, you know, the safety position, you know, gives us some versatility where they could play a high safety or a roll down. So, you know, it just depends on the down and distance that Coach Johnson would like to utilize those guys in.
Gus, did you have any chance to do 2014, 15 work, or was it all now?
Well, we try to balance some of it. I mean, you can't get too far behind. And we have been working on the 2014 and some 2015, but you know, the majority of our energy has been put in this class, as well it should be, you know, in a short period.
When you lost your special teams and running backs coach, you went quickly to make sure that your staff was full. Was that key in keeping this class?
I think so. Anytime you lose your running back and special teams coach, I guess 2 weeks before signing day, that definitely is a concern. But the great thing about it, Coach Horton is one of the best running back coaches in all of college football, and so it was a natural fit. And then Scott Fountain, I tried to hire him as my special teams tight end coach at Arkansas State, and he chose to stay here. So I know a lot about those two guys, and I feel very comfortable. And so it wasn't a tough decision, you know, once it came about.
After you were able to get Macaroni Alexander to commit to you guys today, son, were you surprised at all that his twin brother McKenzie didn't follow?
Well, you know, we recruited both those individuals differently, and they're both very good football players. And to be honest with you, we treated him like we would anybody else. So I'm not going to say we were surprised, but we recruited him, you know, the same way.
The other thing that obviously stands out is 3 players from Hutchinson. Can you kind of talk a little bit about your familiarity with that program and And what drew you to those three guys?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the standpoint that when I was at Arkansas State, I knew a lot about those guys, and then the fact that they're very talented, and other big-time schools were already recruiting, and so we got on campus, and we really feel like all those guys can help immediately.
Anything else?
Yes, beyond this recruiting class, there are rules changes coming up for the unlimited texting and all those things. How much have y'all thought about that, and what kind of impact do you think that's
You know
going
what,
to have?
I've been focused just on this signing class, and when I wake up tomorrow, I'll start thinking that way.
Gus, what can you say about the events this past weekend where you had a recruit leave early on the season?
Yeah, all I'm gonna talk about is the players that sign with us, and we're tickled to death to have them.
All right, good.